Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome on in here on another edition of the KBO show. While the odds makers are paying attention to the NBA playoffs, to the end of the NHL regular season, these guys are scouring the board to get you some winners in Asian baseball. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, joined by the stars of the show. We got Tokyo Brandon, and we got Adam Trigger, and we got another edition of the KBO show getting you some actionable info. And stay tuned on this edition, because at our best bet segment, you're getting a 2-pack of 4% best bets for free here live on the KBO show. Let's welcome in the guys and say hello. Tokyo Brandon, we'll start with you. You have to peel yourself away from binge watching The Sopranos for a little bit to talk a little KBO. In our pre-show meeting, I think you dropped about 300 Sopranos references. So Tokyo Brandon, how you doing to chime in with the references there?
How you doing? Doing all right. I had a couple losing days this week, so that I've had 2 losing days out of 14, and I'm still catching a lot of flack on Twitter for having 2 losing days out of 14. Which, I mean, you're gonna get that from the rookies. Those are the people who are never going to win in their lives, so they don't understand that sports betting is long term. 2 losing days out of 14 is still not that bad. Overall in the KBO, I'm still hovering between 59-60% winning percentage, which is my goal for the end of the season. And regarding KBO, we're learning some things like SSG is really good. I think on our season preview show, Adam picked them as a dark horse for winning it all, and he's kind of looking like Nostradamus there, because they are playing like champions right now. LG is really good, which shows that if you have a good bullpen in the KBO, you can be good even without hitting. And Hanwha's bullpen is terrible as expected. Surprisingly, NC still sucks. And Kia is on a major resurgence. So those are some things we're learning in this early season.
Yeah, well, I would like to say, kind of following up on what you're saying there, Tokyo Brandon, is, even though at WagerTalk we have some guys who are on like 14-0 runs, 13-0 runs, if you think everybody wins every play they've ever released in their life, we also have a bridge that we'd like to sell you. So, yeah, definitely the marathon, not the sprint. Can echo those sentiments from Tokyo Brandon. So, Adam Trigger, how are you doing, man? How was your weekend, and what do you have up? It is $9 Monday here at WagerTalk, where you can get any play at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, just $9. What do you have up for the clients, and how you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm ahead in both MLB and KBO so far this season, marginally. Think I'm like a game over 500 in both, but really that's like the grind is to get to high 50% the end of the season. Doing it on sides and totals is extremely difficult. Like, it's a little easier when you start, bringing in team totals and props and stuff like that. But like, that's really the goal. High 50%. If you can get there by the end of the season, that's really good. That's what we're trying to do. And that's what, working on doing every day. So I'm happy with how the season's gone so far, ahead in both. The Major League Baseball game that I had on my eye on today got rained out, along with like 3 or 4 other games. I guess some crazy weather. So I've got nothing up right now. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to give out Tuesday mornings 4% KBO play for free. So save yourself the $9. Stay around till the end of the show. And we'll get that to you for free, and hopefully we can start the week off with a win.
Even more reason to be tuning in here each and every Monday and Thursday for the KBO show. Adam Trigger with a 4% play for free here on the show to end it. And Tokyo Brandon has one for you as well. So what we're going to do on the show here today, we're going to start off with a little recap of what we have seen far before we get into our featured game breakdown, some series breakdowns, and those best bets. So let's have a look at it. As the standings, it's really my ever since I claimed them as my own, the SSG Landers have been rolling. One loss on the year, 13-1 their record. Right behind them, a little bit more distance than they maybe would like, though. The LG Twins with 10 wins. Kiwoom right behind them with 9. Doosan knocking at that third spot. They're 8-5. You have Lotte at 7-6. And then you have two teams sitting with 6 wins. That's the Kia Tigers and the Samsung Lions. And then at the bottom, not where any of them really expected to start the year, you have the KT Wiz, the NC Dinos, and the Hanwha Eagles all sitting with 3 wins apiece. So you see the board there and just kind of see maybe some teams overachieving, some teams underachieving. Brandon, I want to go to you first before we get into some specific game breakdowns on maybe just some observations. You know, we've all heard that saying, sometimes it's maybe better to be lucky than to be good. Maybe that rings true in sports betting and maybe even more so when you're betting the KBO and Asian baseball. What do you have to say on that end?
You got lucky, babe, when I found you.
There's the first one.
Okay, so let's talk about, we're going to talk about being lucky and unlucky in sports betting. And, your memory remembers the bad luck more than it remembers the luck. Just like we're humans, we remember the bad things that happen to us more than the good things that happen to us. If someone cuts your finger off, you're going to remember how that felt more than the day you got married or whatnot. So luck versus unluck. We remember the unlucky things. And just this week, this is not an excuse, but I have 4 unlucky games this week where I had an under in the first 5 innings, and in the bottom of the 5th inning, I lost my under. It's going to happen. And I also had, in Japanese baseball on Sunday, I had a team on the money line that out-hit the other team 6-1 and lost the game 1-0. The one hit was in the 10th inning, and it was a home run. So luck and bad luck are both going to happen, but they're going to happen at the same rate. The problem is you're going to remember the unlucky things more, so it feels like bad luck is hitting you worse than good luck. But in sports betting, we're here for the long run. We're here for the long run, the marathon. If you're going to bet one game and jump in and bet one game, bet your life savings on one game to get rich quick, yeah, good luck, bad luck is going to affect you a lot. But if you're like we are, professional cappers, where we're doing 1,000 bets over the course of a year, good luck and bad luck are going to happen at the exact same rate. It just feels like bad luck hits you harder. Like me this week, it seems like bad luck hits me harder. However, there are plenty of games where I won in the bottom of the 5th, and there are plenty of games where I won on a walk-off home run. It's just I don't remember those as much because it's not as painful as cutting off my finger. So forget about it.
So, Adam, I don't know if he just wanted to talk about luck to tee himself up for his first song of the show. I will neither confirm nor deny that. But for you, I look back to, our preview show heading into the year that you guys did with Joe Ranieri. And one of the topics was just some rule changes and how it could potentially change things for fans in the KBO, or even just change how you're betting, how you're handicapping. One of the ones that you've kind of been hearkening back to as we've continued through our shows here is the expanded strike zone and how that would affect pitchers, how that would affect batters. Have you really noticed it making much of a difference here early on in the season?
Absolutely, Dan. It's made a huge difference, and now we're 15 games into the season, and we've got like a little bit of data where we can sort of see that actually being the case. So first thing, walks down, looks like 12% from last year, is something a friend of mine pointed out on Twitter earlier, which I kind of had the feeling that was the case, and there it is, down about 12%. What I personally noticed is the bullpens are much better this year, and I think that has to do with the fact that you're not having guys come in and walk a bunch of guys, because that's really where the KBO bullpens in the past have gotten in trouble. Guys come in, they can't find the zone, and all of a sudden there's a situation late in the game. If you go back to last year, all season, there was only 2 bullpens that had an ERA under 4 for the season. That was LG had a 3.28 ERA and KT had a 3.68 ERA. Every other team was over 4. This year, 8 of the 10 bullpens have an ERA under 4 right now. If you look team bullpen ERA, 8 of the 10 teams are under 4 as a team, with NC Dinos are at 4.62 and Hanwha Eagles at 5.33. Every other team has an ERA under 4. So what that tells me, and it's actually like a nice segue from Brandon saying, I kind of took a bad beat in the bottom of the 5th inning. So I was hoping there would be more value in betting unders, but the odds makers are smart, even when they're not, you said in the open, maybe they're not paying attention. Well, they've been all over this with the totals because the totals have been low right from the start. Like it's been tough to find a spot to take unders in these KBO games because we're seeing so many 7 and when you have the good pitchers. I mean, we've seen 7s. I think there was 6.5s last week. Sort of like Brandon can kind of follow up. That's kind of what happens in Japan with the 6.5s and the 7s. It's almost like I almost think I've looking too low with too high with the totals because like having a total of 9 when there's half decent pitchers on the mound is like a thing of the past. But I actually think if there's value in unders, it's got to be the full game unders right now because at least the 8s, the 8.5s, and the 9s are still out there. And you look and the bullpens have been so much better than they are last year. So maybe, the first 5 under is where they're going to still make you pay a premium because you see good starter against good starter. But, I'm hoping that we start to get a few overs and then there actually is value in the full game under because the strike zones are bigger. The hitting is down. The walks are down. And there's now the bullpens are so much better than they were last year. So that's just like an observation I had. If we're going to be able to exploit it, it's probably going to have to do with whether the odds makers, start hanging numbers that we can actually exploit.
He's Adam Trigger, and that's our observation. So that's us looking back a little bit, but you're here for what we're looking forward to. Let's get to our featured game breakdown here. We got the KT Wiz taking on the LG Twins, and it's a team who's sitting at the bottom of the standings versus the team who's chomping at that bit to get that first place ranking with the LG Twins at 10-4. You look at the odds there, figures to be a tight game as the Wiz and Twins take on each other. Twins a modest 120 favorite on the money line. And those low totals, Adam's not lying. 7 is what we have posted here. I'm going to throw it right back your way, Adam, because you'll have a little bit more to say about this game coming up during our best bet segment. But as it stands, KT Wiz, LG Twins, how are you looking at our featured game for today?
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, I'm on KT, so as you can guess, that is going to be my best bet, and I'll circle back with more at the end. But just listen, KT is 3-10 on the season. Okay, this is your 2021 defending champs, 3-10. Brandon and I have both talked about it. They got hit with some injuries early in the season to big time players, and that's one thing that you can't. It's really hard to survive injuries to guys like Cuevas, Becco, Kang, like stud players that these teams count on. But even with that being said, KT still has enough talent where they should be winning games, and they just haven't. And I still think that's going to change. You have this in this particular matchup. You have Young Po Ko, who, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he's got to be one of the top 2 or 3 Korean-born domestic guys in the league right now. He's a stud, and you're getting him here at even money against an LG Twins pitcher who is a young kid that I think they would like him to be something big. In Kim for LG's 22 years old, 3rd year in the league. But if you look at his first 2 seasons, really haven't been that good at all. A little bit of improvement from 2020 to 2021. He had a really good start earlier this year, but it's one start, and he was off for 11 days, which makes me think he may have had COVID. That's what a lot of these guys, it's not super publicized, but I have a feeling he missed with COVID, and we were able to take advantage of that last week, fading a guy that came off of a COVID break for a start and got a win with KT on Friday. So I'm going to kick it over to Brandon because I want him I want to see what he has to say about a couple of the things that we just talked about. I'll circle back and best bets and break down the rest of this one. But yeah, KT Wiz, even money with Poe on the mound, just a great buy low spot on a team that's probably going to be a contender at some point this season.
Yeah, Brandon, I saw a lot of nodding out of you during the breakdown there on our featured games. The KT Wiz are facing the LG Twins. So, Brandon, in agreement with Adam as maybe some value on a team who's really underachieved out of the gate here. 3 wins on the year for the Wiz. Can they make it 4 when they take on the Twins? How do you see it breaking out?
Because everybody hurts, and KT is hurting right now. Because every time I sing, I hear Joe in my ear saying, "Oh Jesus!" So, to address the Japanese league as well, totals are way down. There's 2 games today in the Japanese league that are 5, not 5.5, not 6, but 5 for a game total. Wow. That's just insane. So, anyways, back to KT and everybody hurts. KT is hurting right now because, as Adam mentioned, they have injuries. But still, they're way too talented to be 3-8. I think what the odds makers are doing is they're looking at bullpens and capping mainly on bullpen and starter. But as Adam said, Ko Young Pyo for KT is one of the studly young pitchers in Korea. As a matter of fact, he had a great sample size against LG last year. He had 5 starts against them. He gave up 3-0-0-3-1. And in those 5 starts, he has a 22-5 strikeout bases to balls ratio. So he's definitely the better starter. Kim Yun-sik for LG, let's see, how did he do? He had a nice start versus Kiwoom to start the season, but last year in 2 relief appearances versus KT, he got blown up. So starting pitching is definitely an advantage for KT. I don't trust their lineup yet, though. Their lineup is second to last in production, and LG has a better bullpen. But based on starters, the starting pitcher discrepancy alone, I think KT maybe first 5, cut it to first 5, maybe would be a decent bet. It's not on my slate today, but I would agree with Adam's analysis.
He's Tokyo Brandon. Also want to say, head on over to Tokyo Brandon's page on WagerTalk. There is an unreal offer that is up right now featuring all access from him, Andrew McGinnis, and Dave Koken, our profit leaders through the beginning of the season. Check that out and potentially save thousands. Adam Trigger has a 4% play loaded as well. You can get his all access. Check out his page at WagerTalk as well. So, guys, let's get into our series previews here. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to throw it right back your way because I'm intrigued to see how you're going to break down a series that really has 2 teams just looking to right the ship. It's the NC Dinos taking on the Samsung Lions. NC dropped 2 straight to the Kia Tigers after a win on Friday. Samsung gets swept by my red-hot SSG Landers. So who do you see bouncing back in this series? And from a handicapping perspective, Brandon, how are you kind of breaking this one down as the Lions face off against the Dinos?
Yeah, well, this is going to be my best bet. I have a 4% play on this game on a straight-up money line. After you hear me break down the game, you can probably figure out which way I'm going. But we've got Yang Chang-sup for Samsung going against Lee Jae-hak for NC. NC is just in a major quagmire. They can't hit. Their bullpen is terrible. They can't hit. Their lineup is terrible. They do have a slight starting pitcher advantage here, but Lee Jae-hak had a terrible start to the season. He got blown up by Kiwoom, which I've said in many shows. I use Kiwoom as the measuring stick for mediocrity. Even with Puig on their roster, they're hitting a little better than last year, but they're not much better. Hack also has a bad strikeout to walk ratio. He didn't face Samsung last year, so that's to his advantage. Yang, on the other hand, let's see. Yang had 2 great starts. He has a 7-2 strike to walk ratio. He didn't face NC last year, but he has a really good strikeout ratio. So the way I would break this down is just based on the lineup discrepancy. I have Samsung ranked number 3, and I have NC ranked number 10 out of 10 teams. Given the fact that I think Samsung's bullpen is a little bit better than NC's, and I think their lineup is a lot better, despite their shortcomings in the starting pitching department, I think Samsung can take care of NC here. And as far as the series is concerned, I do think coming down the line, they have better starters, and I just think having a better bullpen than NC will get them at least two out of 3 wins in this 3-game series.
We got a 4% best bet free play coming up here from both of the guys here. Adam, I'm going to throw it your way as we're looking at the Kiwoom Heroes taking on the SSG Landers. And Heroes, they just picked up a series win. They were taking on Doosan. They stayed just a hair above the Bears in the standings with that series win, while SSG, I mean, how many different ways can we say it, guys? They are just rolling through the start of the season. They have 1 loss on the year. It's to the second place KT Wiz. So, Adam, can Kiwoom be the team to maybe throw some ice water on this red-hot start for the Landers, finally beat them in a series, or are we going to see more of the same out of the SSG side?
So, I love what Brandon just said, because it's so true. Kiwoom is literally, if you want just like the definition of mediocrity in this league, it's Kiwoom. Actually, I think they're below mediocrity. I don't think Kiwoom finishes with a 500 record this year. Okay, they were 1-4, and they played this string of games against these struggling teams. I think they swept NC. They had a nice series against Doosan, and you know, to tip my cap, they've played well. But if you look at this roster, like once we get further into the season, Kiwoom is not going to be in the top 4 or 5 teams. At least I don't see how they managed to do that. But with the roster that they have. Now, SSG, I mean, they've overachieved, but they're far and away the best team in the KBO. And I'll say this, as long as they stay healthy, because injuries can cripple any team at any time in this league. If SSG stays healthy, they will run away with the league this year. They will absolutely run away with this league if they're healthy. And in this series, there actually might be value on SSG, and I'll explain why. If Kiwoom wins the opener of this series, Kiwoom would be 10-5. They'll have some sort of run where they've won like 9 of their last, 10 or 11. And then they'll have to face Wilmer Font and Kwang Kim from the guy that was on the Cardinals and came back to Korea. Now, Kwang he does not belong in the KBO. He should be in Major League Baseball still. The reason he's back in Korea is because there was obviously some uncertainty with the season if it was going to happen, and he chose the safe route and it was like, okay, I'll come back to Korea for the season. He hasn't given up a run yet this year, and he's just so much better. Like he's a true major leaguer in this league. He's not like a guy that had a cup of coffee in the big leagues and then couldn't cut it, and now he's in this league and he's good. He is a true Major League Baseball pitcher that's pitching in Korea right now. If you can get him at any reasonable price, even if you have to lay like minus 200, at this point you should just take it because he's that good. And if Kiwoom can win the early game in this series, like if they can beat, I didn't bet it, but I want to fade Won-Suk who SSG is pitching tonight because he's not great. He just has gotten off to a good start. If Kiwoom can win early in the series and you get something like minus 200 on Wilmer Font or on Kim, I think you just come back and lay some juice and take it because SSG, the lineup, top to bottom, so much, far and away the best in the league. Font is coming off a bad start. He probably bounces back. And Kwang, honestly, I don't know that he's gonna absolutely dominate in this league. Probably should be minus 400. So keep an eye out for those games later in the series. Don't be afraid to lay a big money line with SSG because there's actually probably value there, especially with them playing at home, especially if they get beat early in the series and have a real reason to come out hard the next game.
Adam Trigger reminding folks that records aren't always what they're all cracked up to be. The third overall team in the league by standings might not even finish with an over 500 record. The gauntlet being tossed down by Mr. Trigger there. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to throw it your way. It's best bet time. Both of you guys let the cat out of the bag a little bit on what we have for our 4% best bet 2-pack you guys are giving out. But Tokyo, in case people are just tuning in or they need a little recap, remind people what you have up for clients, the different offers they have, and what's your best bet for today?
Yeah, I've got 4% plays out, 2 in KBO and 2 in the Japanese league. I have them all packaged in one package for only $9. It's on my WagerTalk page right now. I'm also in a special with Dave Koken and Andrew McGinnis for the top 3 2022 cappers package for the rest of 2022. You can get all 3 of us for a special discounted rate. That's on my page as well. Circle back to what Adam was saying about SSG and Kiwoom. This is not on my slate for today, but yeah, SSG's pitcher today is Owan Suk, and I nickname him Owan Suck because he's their worst pitcher, and he has been since last year. Last year against Kiwoom, he had one game where he held him down and one game where they just absolutely blew him up. So today is pretty much a coin toss, but I agree with Adam that SSG should be able to roll Kiwoom in the next 2 games after today. So back to my, that's just a little analysis that I'm throwing in. It's not on my slate for today. But yeah, I'm on SSG today for my best bet. NC, as I said earlier, they just are not hitting. And I have Samsung's bullpen performing better than NC's right now. I have their lineup performing better, and between the 2 starting pitchers, Yang and Lee, I have them ranked number 61 and number 52, respectively, out of about 200 pitchers. So they're both decent pitchers, but they're both pretty equal. So I think the discrepancy in lineup gives Samsung a big advantage. I would take Samsung on the money line, which is minus 110 the last time I checked it, or I would even play it safe and take a -1. When you take a -1, if they win by 1, you get your money back. And if they win by 2, you win. So it's a little bit safer bet than -1.5. I don't know what books offer it and what books don't. I don't know what state you guys are all in or what country you all are in. I can get -1, so I take it sometimes to play it safe. But I like Samsung on a money line as well today because NC is just in a quagmire. I don't see Lee J. Hack getting them out of this tailspin.
Yeah, well, Brandon, I'm sure that just as much as the player loves his suck nickname you threw for him, I'm sure Samsung equally as disappointed in the misspeak of saying SSG there at the top. They pay big money for these naming rights, Brandon. We got to make sure we're giving the plugs to all these companies who they want to be known as the Samsung Lions. There, of course, we're just kidding here. Adam, going to throw it your way as your best bet. We talked about it way back at the top of where you're looking in this KT Wiz matchup as they're facing the LG Twins. It's a 4% play, so these guys are saving you some money here on $9 Monday. What do you have loaded for your clients, and what's your best bet today in KBO action?
Yeah, so best bet today, KT Wiz. They're even money for the full game. Brandon hit a lot of my other talking points when we were breaking it down, which is great. So go back and watch the earlier part of the show. We gave out a lot of information to both of us on this game. I wanted to hit a couple more things as to why I'm on the full game here. One, KT and LG, I think I referenced early in the show. Last year, by far the 2 best bullpens in the league. This year, LG leads the league with a 1.01 bullpen ERA right now. KT is 3.64, and I actually think LG is going to regress a little bit. KT is going to probably rise to the top a little bit in the bullpen metrics. So, and the other reason I like it here is because KT kind of saved their best bullpen arms. They went with a bullpen game on Sunday, so Poe could start this game. They gave him a little extra rest, which means he should probably go 6 or 7 here because he's more than capable of it. And you should get KT's absolute top relievers in this game because that's how big of a game this is for KT. And then one other thing I have to throw out, KT hitting 191 with runners in scoring position. I just don't see how that happens all year long to a team that won this league last year, won the whole thing, and was as good as they were. So I'm going to bank on some positive regression for KT. I think I'm getting the far better starter here, and we're getting even money on this team to win a game they desperately need. Is a great bet. So KT Wiz, even money to win the game, 4% best bet. And that's my only play for Tuesday. So you don't even, you don't have to spend any money. You got it right there. Let's cash it and get the week off to a great start.
That's Adam Trigger again. KT Wiz money line, even money there for you, plus money betters. That's his best bet on the money line there. Tokyo Brandon going with the Samsung Lions money line as well. So check these guys out at WagerTalk.com. They just saved you $18 right there. You don't have to buy their 4% plays for today. So use that $18, buy one of their 3 7-day season-long packages. Get a good deal with the money they just saved you there. Make sure if you're enjoying the content we're dropping, drop a like. Hit us with a subscription so you never miss an edition of our Monday and Thursday KBO show. Until Thursday, for my guys, Tokyo Brandon, Adam Trigger, and the great folks behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll see you Thursday on the KBO show.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.